Hi everyone, it's Miss Chaos. I've been cleaning for about 6 hours because I wanted to come back to my place looking all nice and clean, but guess what? I still couldn't finish it. My laundry is not put away, but at least it's like folded. And now it's 9:20 p.m. I'm about to head out to the airport, and here we go. Here we go together. I'm so tired. Oh my god. I think I look like somebody who pulled an all-nighter and downed 2 cans of Monster, but that's exactly how I really should look like after I went through everything today. I'm here despite feeling super fatigued because I wanted to give you an update of how terrible my day went. Actually, terrible is not the right word. Terribly right and terribly wrong. What do I mean by that? Well, a lot of things did not go as planned, but that's life. That's the reason why people should go on travels anyway, because you want to see how the other person reacts to unforeseen circumstances, the unpredictable, inevitable skews and plans. Well, I'm getting sidetracked. Anyway, so this morning I said, oh, hello everybody, I'm about to head out, I'll see ya, bye. And then skip towards what, how many hours? I don't even know, over 24 for sure. Not 24 yet, I'd say like 18 hours since I shot that video. And here's what exactly happened. So long story short, I got on the plane with 3 rings, and then midway through the flight I noticed that one of my ring was missing, and I concluded that because I fasted for a while due to not wanting to feel like bloated during my long trip towards my destination, it just slipped out. And from that moment on, with the last 3 hours of flight remaining, I was like a nervous wreck, because theoretically, logically, I know it's down there. I know it's somewhere there, and I just need my flashlight to look, but I can't because I am so cramped. I can't even look down, like I can't even bend all the way down. And yes, it's theoretically possible to ask the person next to me to just stand up for a second so I can take the time to look, except just so happened to be the person who actually never went to the washroom during 10-hour flight, actually 11-hour flight. Pretty impressive. And because of that, head down, like ready to just snooze through the entire flight, I did not want to disturb the person. So in my mind, I was devising a plan that when this aircraft lands, I'm going to take my time to crawl through every nook and corner, every crevice, until they have to drag me out of the aircraft, unless I find the building. Unless I find, not the building, but the ring. Fortunately, it didn't come to that, because I found the ring like immediately, 10 seconds after landing, and everybody got up, and I was able to find it in the location that I predicted it to be. But the last 3 hours of flight, I was watching a movie, and after I realized that the ring was gone, I was not watching it anymore. I was supposed to be, I don't know, I was supposed to be listening to music, spend some time, but I guess I was staring dead into, the world map where you can see your plane like inches by inches moving towards the destination. I think I was glaring at that. I wish I'm not like this, but I am. Yeah, so that was my flight. So you can say that it was more emotionally charged than it usually is, considering how this is like from the type of flight that I have taken on pretty regularly. Not regularly, but at least like a bunch of times. So going to South Korea, in other words, is not new to me. Could not eat dinner because I had a sub right before I got boarded the plane. Could not eat breakfast because of the knot in my stomach. So by the time I finished and landed and booked my bus ticket, which was in about 45 hours to board, I went to the convenience store to try to find something to eat, because at that point I was feeling a little weak. I wanted to get something. And as much as I enjoyed browsing, and I love Korean convenience stores so much, but I couldn't find anything to eat because I know what they all are like, junk food, and I didn't want to risk it. You see, I still had 2 to 3 hours of travel left until I got my home, and I didn't want to risk getting bloated, didn't want to risk getting, a stomach ache in the middle of nowhere. No thank you. So decided to get on the bus, had a pretty chill ride, cruising ride for another hour, and once they let me off, I got on the train for what was supposed to be an hour turned out to be 2.5 hours. Because I would say the main reason is because I didn't have internet, and I was supposed to have internet. I bought an eSIM, I activated the eSIM at the airport. I thought it worked, but it didn't work, and I found out when the bus left the airport. So I had no internet until I got home. And just so you know, having no internet in Korea is actually not that big of an issue, because there's free Wi-Fi zones like a lot of places, especially in major subway stations. Of course, you're not going to have readily accessible information such as like when is the next train coming, something that is time sensitive and location sensitive. Obviously not, but I purchased the eSIM hoping to utilize it to get to home easier, and I could not use it. In fact, I talked to the technicians and representative like, I don't know, a few hours ago, trying to suss it out, and in the end, all they could do was refund me and tell me to purchase another one. That being said, I'm still going to recommend KT eSIM roaming, despite all that extra trouble, because the customer service was that good. And I really do think that I didn't follow all the instructions as they supposedly outlined in their instruction page. I don't know, I skimmed it, but it wasn't part of their steps as far as I recall, based on the brochure. Anyway, what you're supposed to do when you buy the KT eSIM is this. Don't be like me and follow this. First, you get in the airport Wi-Fi, whatever Wi-Fi. When you purchase, they give you a QR code. You scan the QR code and you just go through the works. And when you get to the end, you turn off the Wi-Fi, like completely turn it off, and then you turn off and turn on your phone at least like 5 times. And then you leave your phone alone for at least 5 minutes so that your phone gets a chance to sort of reconnect with the router, reconnect with the system. I don't know, something like that. But apparently my phone had issues with that. So despite them on their side, they could see that everything is activated, everything's working fine, but no data is being used. Whereas me on my end, I like Google something like right away, please let me search something. Not a single time it worked. So again, it wasn't a hassle, but it was my first time using eSIM in Korea, and also probably one of my first times trying to buy and implement this new SIM in Korea by myself. So, continuing on with when I got off the bus, so my trials and tribulations didn't quite end there, because the climax came when I was trying to navigate home through train. There's a subway system that's also linked with a train system that is linked to more rural areas of Korea. And the characteristic of these train systems is that they are more infrequent, and it is more, I would say, not as intuitive as some of the major subway lines, because as you can imagine, there's a lot of tourists going around those major subway lines. So they've been updated to reflect the time, like the names, whatnot. What is going on? Anyway, so imagine my shock when I so confidently, mind you, I was still without the internet, so I didn't know exactly what I was doing. I was going old school, like rogue, and I thought I was going completely in the right path, and then I realized as soon as I got on the train that I was going the opposite direction. What is going on? Okay, I figured it out. What was I saying? I completely forgot. So after getting on the plane, getting on the train in the wrong direction, of course it took a while, like good 3 minutes until I got to the wrong stop. And then when I got the wrong stop, I tried to go, mind you, I'm carrying a really heavy luggage the entire time. And I'm going upstairs and then through the escalator. And then when I got up, I noticed that there's an elevator. So what, I must let you know that these two like different stations had names, like for example, like Munsan and Yongmun and Yongsan. Munsan, Yongmun, Yongsan. They all sound very similar, and one leads to the one way and the other leads to the other way. So yes, I was very confused. And by the way, when I got on the elevator to get down on the other side of the platform, I actually ended up going back to the exact same platform. Yes, the one that I just got up from. And I was so razzle dazzled, and I just did not know what was going on, that I watched the other platform, the whole train passing, the train that I was supposed to be in order to go into the right direction, would pass right before my eyes. And I was just going like, oh, that probably means I need to wait another 15 minutes. So I got up. And yes, at this point I was feeling like this, because I was really faint at that time. I wasn't like going to fall over or anything, but I was feeling like, oh my god, I am hungry and I am tired and I am feeling less forgiving to myself and everyone else. It's good to be aware of that, right? So, and another thing is that because it was like 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. in the morning on Sunday, nobody was around. So that's good. If I was mowed down by crowds, I'd probably have lost it a lot earlier. So I finally get up, take the right elevator down to the correct platform, wait another good 20 minutes, and I wish that's the end of my story, but it's not, because the train, on the weekends, there's no express train. So thing about these rural trains is that if there's another like high speed, like KTX train that's coming, like passing you, you wait. And if you're on those trains, you wait. You wait another 5 minutes until the other train leaves the other platform, passes you, go to the other station, and you wait. Thus is the life. And again, this is not, the purpose of this is not to complain. This is just to highlight situations that arise when you just don't know. When you just don't know. How would I have known? I mean, I knew that trains pass the other trains because I've been on that train before when I last visited this location. But that's another thing when it plays directly into your very long trip. If that's the thing that makes your already long trip even longer, it's going to be felt deeper. And I felt it deeper when there's a third train passing me. Passing the train. All in all, the delay itself was maybe 20 minutes at most. Okay, 30 minutes. That was caused by me. But in the midst of all this, especially when I was dragging my luggage towards the correct platform the second time I missed the train, I could feel this irritation rising and frustration, this anger rising within me. And what I'm really proud of is that I recognized it. First of all, I recognized that I was becoming to be in a foul mood and that I was becoming angry. And then I had enough space. I'm so grateful for this. I had enough space within my heart to pause and ask myself where that feeling came from. And that feeling came from my perfectionism, me telling myself that I should have known this, that I should have searched better, that I should research, and that I should not have made this mistake. And that's kind of how I navigated my early adulthood, right? To chastise myself and to continuously criticize for excellence. And it served me well to some extent, but it did not really serve me well in other aspects. So I'm glad I was able to put a pause there, because it was rising, and then I noticed it. I gave it a name, and then I understood where it came from, and then I flipped it around and said, hey, try to think of it positively. I am learning something new here. This tells me the way I'm feeling right now means that I probably have a bigger ego than before. As I grow older, I find myself settling into more patterns. And that means in other words, I dislike change more than before. And that is a little bit, quite frankly, a little bit scary to me. So I don't want to be that. I don't want to be the person who deters change. So when I noticed those feelings rising, I just went like, what do I think of myself? Like, who do I think I think I am? And then I was able to laugh it off. Anyway, I got to the destination in one piece, which actually sounds more of an accomplishment now that I mention it. I got there in one piece. And I had a really good meal. Unfortunately, I was not able to shoot it because I was literally stuffing my face. It was just regular, home cooked meal that is made with love. And that filled my heart right up to the brim. That was my day. It was a laborious day, if I do say myself. And this day taught me a lot about what not to wear even when things seem okay, about what not to decorate your luggage with even when things were okay before, about how to perceive and embrace changes that you may not even like in the beginning. Because, if I'm going to say that you learn through your mistakes, I better model it. To not to be a hypocrite, So I hope we all get to remember, especially me, that when we travel, the type of traveling that I am imagining for myself is the kind that not necessarily a stressful one, but the kind that challenges my preconceived notions and beliefs about myself. Those are the travels I really enjoy, and today definitely did that for me. I'll be back. See you next time. Bye. It's Miss Chaos.